evening, afternoon, morning to you. This is Ada Bobino, the founder of Nommo Speakers Bureau. I am so pleased to have with us this evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you are. One of our speakers, Rose Harper. She's an important visionary in the world of golf. She's the author of the book, The Art of the Deal, Golf, Access to Success. And she founded the Grass Ceiling, Inc., which is a firm that specializes in using the game of golf as a platform to level the playing field for women and minorities. And in addition to being a renowned consultant in sports and events management, to presidents, royalties, celebrities, and Fortune 500 CEOs, she is the founding member of the PGA Tour's Wives Association. She organized the first multiracial sporting event in the history of South Africa and founded the National Minority College Golf Championship, where she established a minority joint venture golf course design team with Gary Player and Arnold Palmer to provide golf feasibility study in the District of Columbia, which is her hometown. Rose is a former board member of the Crosby Invitational Golf Tournament, and she's received numerous awards, including the Sam Lacey Pioneer Award, as well as being an inductee into the National Black Golfers Hall of Fame and a PGA Founders Plaque. We are so honored to have you join us, and our topic today is golf in your portfolio? We're basically going to talk about why playing the game of golf is essential to basically your business aspirations for those in this field of business, those majoring or coming out of business, or those already in corporate America. So I just want to welcome you, Rose, as well as I want to welcome Shatar Collier from Urban Freelancers, our co-partner. We're very pleased to have you all. I just want to get started and find out how's a little black girl in Washington, D.C., filled with basketball and soccer and baseball, everything that usually little kids of color play. How did you get involved in the game of golf? How did that come into your life?
Well, Ada, I guess golf came to me sort of naturally. I would say as a young person, I'm a middle child, and I always hung out with my two older brothers, and everything that they did, I did. I was working for this company as a small child, and we were kids working in the neighborhood, sorting the bolts and nuts of this electrical engineering and contracting firm, and we were bowlers. So most of us, the entire company, were all men, old enough to be my fathers and grandfathers. But every month we had a bowling match, and they allowed us, the kids, to bowl with them, which was very smart on their part because they were so much older than we, and we were pretty good at bowling. One day, after one of the bowling sessions, which we won, a real tall, handsome gentleman asked me, hey, do you play golf? And I had not a clue what he was talking about. I said, golf? He says, yes. I said, why? He said, because in the summer, we don't play golf. I mean, we don't bowl, we play golf. And I looked him straight in the eye and I said, yes, I play golf. So I dashed back to the office, and my boss and mentor, who was an absolutely brilliant woman, said to me, I said, Alina, what is this game golf? She says, why? I said, because they don't bowl in the summer, they play golf. So she said, well, Rose, you go to one of the most premier country clubs every month, and it's a golf course there. And I said, where's that? She said, it's Congressional. Well, I didn't have a clue. I hated to go to Congressional anyway, because at that time it was so far removed from where we lived, but I had to drive there once a month. But that's how I got into golf. I was determined that I was going to play golf with this young, handsome guy, and I never saw him again. I went directly to the driving range in Washington down on Main Avenue. I picked up some clubs and started hitting the ball, and I was in my high heel shoes, and there was a little gentleman sitting at the end of the driving range there, and after about the third time he saw me, and he came over and he said, "Young lady, do you have any tennis shoes?" Well, he was an elderly white gentleman, rustic red with his hat pulled down, and back in the day, I said, "Why you ask me, do I have any tennis shoes? Why?" He said, "Because you're going to break your neck in those high heel shoes." He said, "You have a really great swing and you could be a terrific golfer." And he said, "And I can help you." And I said, "Wonderful." He said, "Well, get some flat shoes, and it would be nice if you would wear some pants, shorts or long pants to practice in," because I was in my office clothes. I was in high school, my last year in high school, and I had time out. So I went for 3 times a week. I went every day, but 3 times a week he would work with me. And after I think about 10 or 12 lessons, he said, "Okay, now I want you to practice everything that I have worked with you on, and then you come back and we're going to go to the next stage of the game." And he said, "And you owe me," and I didn't know, I think it was somewhere a little bit of money at that, but at that time it was a lot. I think he said I owed him like $15 or something. And I looked at him and I said, "Are you serious? I owe you for what?" He says, "For teaching you." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because I'm a professional." And I said, "A professional what?" That's how much of a novice I was about golf. He said, "I'm a professional golfer." And I looked at him and I said, "You get paid for doing this?" And he said, "Yes." Well, I was in tears because I didn't have $15. And he said, "Don't worry about it. You can pay me whenever you get it. And when you come back, then we'll work it out." He said, "But I don't want you to stop coming." So I dashed back to the office and I was in tears. And I said, "Alina, this man charges to teach me to play golf and I don't have any money." So she said, "Rose, he's a professional and you're an amateur." So that was the beginning of my understanding of what a professional golfer was and an amateur golfer was. So I sort of learned by the seat of my pants. There was no lean in for me back then, in all those days, but that's how I got involved in golf. And subsequently to that, I played golf every day. I would play 9 holes before I went to school in the morning. I would go to school. I would leave school. I would go to my job, and in the summertime I would play 9 holes after I worked. And so it's been my passion. I was sort of hooked on the game for a long time, and I'm very blessed that I have been able to transcend and make my passion my business.
Yes, because we know about your company, the Grass Ceiling. Can you tell us more about it and what its mission is?
Well, the Grass Ceiling was founded in 1995, and our mission is leadership, development, diversity, and inclusion, and empowerment. Basically, to empower women and minorities and how to use the game of golf as a leadership tool, as an empowerment tool, as public relations and marketing. And why it is so important today is because so many people talk about diversity and inclusion, but they don't activate it. Many companies have budgets for diversity and inclusion and your chief diversity officers, and they try, but through my years of experience, I was on the PGA Tour for over 26 years.
That's great.
Managing professional golfers, which took me around the globe. I'm very, very fortunate. I'm an extremely blessed person to have golf in my life because I've traveled to 6 continents doing the game of golf. So what I wanted to do was, after going through a major transition in my life, a major transition both personally and professionally and corporately, I decided that I did not want to go back to the drawing board to learn any other skill because I already had one marketing and public relations and contract negotiations. I learned all those things when I was in high school under this brilliant woman, Alina Harris. So I had those skills which provided me the background for what I needed for managing professional golfers. I didn't choose that. It was just one of those things that I was asked to do, and I'm blessed to have been able to do that. So now my focus is basically through the grass ceiling is with our workshop, seminar, hand-on leadership program is to share my experiences, share my knowledge base, share my contacts with other women and minorities to say, there is no reason that you cannot do the same thing for your business that I'm doing for mine. The only difference is I have game and they don't. So, and I try to really explain to people, it is not about how well you play the game. It is all about having the game in your portfolio and using it wisely. Why do you need golf?
Right.
You need it because it is a very, very powerful tool, and that is the way that you advance through all levels, both professionally, personally, socially, corporately. My contacts and my experiences, the experiences that I've had have all been through my contacts basically with golf. For example, I'm a native Washingtonian. I live in Washington, D.C. I was born here. So when there's a new administration coming in, at the time I was, on the road a lot, but they would always talk about the president plays golf. So I wrote a letter, my first time, I wrote a letter to Gerald Ford and say, hi, Mr. President, congratulations, welcome to my town. It is my town. And I think people take, we pay the salaries of the politicians. So we need to understand that they are here to work with us, serve, in accordance to why they were elected. And I don't take that out of context. So I just said, you here in my city, understand you play a little golf. I manage a few golfers. Maybe you'd like to have a game sometime, and I'd like to set that up. Well, I got a very good response back from the president saying, hey, I'd like to talk to you about that. Love to play some golf. So that turned into a 17, 18-year relationship where I was a consultant for him for his golf tournament in Vail, Colorado for years. So that was all because I said, I have, golf and you have golf. And then the next administration, I wrote a letter to George Bush, Daddy Bush, and said the same thing. Here, you play a little golf. And he responded. And so I've been in the White House more times, I think, than I can count. And Gerald Ford, by the way, Gerald Ford was the first president to make a public appearance in a public golf outing that I produced for 24 years. And he came in and played in my golf tournament that I produced for 24 years. And so I've had the experience of high profile security. I was on the presidential helicopter when they were coming in to do the advance work. So I understand and appreciate the seriousness of how they protect our president and how they protect our nation. Through the game of golf, you develop a camaraderie, you develop a bond, and I try to remove the myth that you have to play the game well. It's just
Yes, I was just about to ask you about that because your path and your journey are such an inspiration to so many, and your philosophy of how the game of golf can open doors to people with their professional businesses has been consistent. Can you please tell people about your philosophy and how they can get started?
Well, my philosophy about the game is that everyone needs to have golf in their portfolio, particularly women and minorities. That's my philosophy. Okay. The reason is because it puts you in the mix. It gives you access, whether you want access professionally, socially. It is the one tool that is used around the world. Every head of state plays golf, um, and women and minorities have often been behind the scenes or behind the track of catching up because no one is talking to them about the importance of using golf as a business tool. Okay. Using golf as a social bonding tool for families, for people who have children, for husbands or wives, or you and your significant others. Busy people, we're global people today. So how do you find time to spend with each other? I was doing a seminar recently, and it was a group of attorneys, female attorneys for the D.C. Bar. I've done the D.C. Bar here a couple of times, and the Women's Bar Association. And one of the women, and I use her as a case study all the time, she was the general counsel for a major university here. And she says, Rose, I'm traveling all the time, and I just don't have the time. Well, that's one of the things that I hear all the time. They don't have the time. So I show them how to make time. And I said, well, she said, but my husband and my two boys, they play. And I looked at her and I said, are you kidding me? So she says, yeah, so when I'm off, I just try to find time to spend with my family. I said, while your family is out playing golf, you're sitting there waiting for them to come back. You need to learn how to play the game so you can bond with your two children, your two sons, and your husband. She says, oh my gosh, I never thought of it that way. And then guess what? She lives in a gated community on a golf course, so she doesn't even have to go anywhere. But it's the mindset, she says, I don't have time. And then I hear all the time, I don't want to get my hair all messed up or get my nails messed up. And I said, well, that's fine too. While your male colleagues are out there on the golf course doing business, you are more concerned about your personal presence, whether your nails are looking good and your hair is looking good, while they're out there doing millions of dollars worth of business, and then you're getting upset because they're not in the office. Yeah. Well, they are working harder than you think they are. Right. So I try to remove these kinds of nonsensual myths that people have. When they tell me it takes too much time, I don't have the time. Well, compared to what? I have gone to so many business lunches, so many corporate lunches, I can't count them all. And I'm there for 2.5, most times 3 hours. Well, if you are serious about improving your quality of life and your business and building your business and developing, you can take 30 minutes a week, 30 minutes every couple of weeks, 30 minutes twice, 2 or 3 times a week. Go to the driving range and just hit 30 minutes of balls. You don't have to be out on that golf course. You can hone your skills in a soft way, and what that does, it also releases a lot of stress and tension.
Rose, let me ask you this. Golf is really seen as more of a privileged sport. How do you go about making it or changing that perception and making it to be more of an inclusive sport for minorities and women to get involved in all levels, all social levels? How does one do that in terms of the interest and feasibility?
Well, I think it has been in the past considered as a exclusive, inclusive sport, but I think that with the emergence of Tiger Woods and people like Nancy Lopez, these minorities in the business has changed their perception of the game a lot. So you see more African Americans, you see more Latinos, you see more women and men of color playing the game because of the emergence of Tiger. It's just like the emergence of Mike. They said, oh, we all want to be like Mike. Well, they all want to be like Tiger too. And you see a lot of the young girls playing golf. For the business side, as far as getting people involved, once they understand the importance of the business side of the game, then they are easily on board. They're eager to play because they want to sell more product. They want to do more consulting. They want to sell more automobiles. They want to do all of these things. But if no one is teaching them how to use the game, then that becomes a serious problem, because what they'll say is, well, it takes too much time, it's too cold, it's too windy, it's raining. We're amateur golfers. We're not professional golfers. So your skill base is not one that people would look at you to say, well, what is your handicap? I don't encourage individual competition in corporate outings ever, because it is not all about me competing against you. It's about me teaching you leadership skills and how to interact with others. How does diversity come into this? So for the last 10 years, I've been working very hard on diversity and inclusion and leadership, because people say, what can I learn from golf? Well, you can learn all of the things that they're trying to teach you in a traditional way. I just use a non-traditional tool that is the most powerful in the world to show companies, individuals, global. If I've traveled all over the world, I play in Japan. I can only say domo arigato, gozaimasu, and those things. I know the greetings, but I don't have to know, because I have a game that transcends the language.
Yes.
And so, I set up years ago, I set up a exhibition for one of the major oil companies in Japan. One of the professional golfers didn't show up. So they take their games very seriously over there. And so one of the golfers says, well, Rose plays. And so they came to me and asked me to play, and it was cold, it was foggy, it was damp. I did not want to do that. So I said, I'm so sorry, I don't have any clubs with me. No problem. We take care of it. I said, I don't have any shoes. No problem. These are all men. I'm the only woman. No shoes, no clothes. Within 15 minutes, I had a pair of small Japanese men's shoes. I had cashmere sweaters. I had golf clubs that were suited for me. And then they just looked, and they're very polite people, and they said, well, what else do you need? I said, I need some hot sake. That's what I need. So they gave me some hot sake, and down the fairway I went. And it was, I think, a major turning point for men in Japan, because my team, we finished very respectful. I think we were maybe 5th. And they didn't have a professional golfer on their team.
Congratulations.
I was an amateur.
Yes.
So, but at that time, I had a single-digit handicap, so I was pretty good. But it just goes to show you that golf is, they don't care if a woman is there, and if she's ready to play, and if she's not concerned about all of these other ancillary things that are totally non-related and totally not important. So after that, that time, every year after that, when I went to Japan, I was received extremely well. I went to the geisha house with all men. It's unheard of. And then they looked me straight in the eye when they were doing interviews. The years before, they were looking at the players, asking questions, and none of them that could answer. So I was standing on the sideline answering the questions beside them. After that, it was the players who were standing behind me. So that's how powerful, that's just how powerful the game is. They respect you, and I respect them.
That's if you can play like Rose Harper. What is
well, no.
As a novice, how's one who has an interest, women in corporate America, whatever, or students, how do they get access? Because usually you think golf, you think country clubs, you think you have to make a certain salary, social certain level. How does one get access to the game to get started?
Yeah, well, first, let me clear about the handicap. I used to be a single-digit handicap. I'm a double-digit handicap now, and I'm having more fun because I don't have to compete as much. But it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter your handicap. In the game of golf, there are times there are different tee boxes for every level of play. So on most courses, you will see a white tee, a red tee, a green tee, a blue tee, or a black tee. That's 5 tees. Most courses often have 3 sets of tees, and that determines your level of skill base and where you go to tee off the ball. So I can tee off with the professionals who are hitting from the black tees, which is the farthest back, and I can go to the forward tees, which is often gold, or red tees, which is the furthest forward. And those tees are designed to help us to play on a level playing field, so that when that pro is teeing off, I might be 100 yards in front or 50 yards in front, or that other amateur who is a single-digit handicap. When they tee off, I'm teeing off, we're in the fairway together or very close together. So your handicap determines a lot about it. So people who are just getting involved in the game need not be worried about playing with somebody who is a higher caliber player. In fact, I encourage it. I said, if you want to learn the game, play with someone who knows the rules better than you and who plays the game better than you. Because you're not out there to compete against them. You're not a professional golfer. You're an amateur. You're out there to enjoy the game, to have fun. And that's the main thing. And when you see my book, there's a whole chapter in here about having fun, which is very, very important. I don't know which chapter it is, but it's in here. It talks about the first thing that you need to do is have fun. So
can the viewers have another look at your book? This is really great. If you can please share with them some of the information in it. This is fantastic.
Absolutely. This book is, and they can pick up this book on Amazon, or they can contact us and we'll get an autograph book for them. So this is what we use in our leadership workshop programs. Everybody that attends the Art of the Deal Golf Access to Success receives an autograph copy of this book. And I wrote this book out of really the request and the demands of my audience. Every time I would do a workshop seminar, they would say, Rose, you have to write a book. So I did, and it was a labor of love. I'm just about now to update the book. We're getting ready to make just a few little changes, but in chapter 6 of the book, it says, have fun on the course because it's not your day job. And what I tell people is, you know, your day job is a professional athlete. You know, if you're a basketball or a golfer, you're a professional. We're amateurs. And your day job as an attorney, your day job as a marketing person, your day job as a high-tech profile person, whatever that job is, that's where you need to be scratch player, not on the golf course. Because you know, if you're a scratch player, you need to get out of your office and go join the tour. But you know, when you're in your office, all of you high-profile tech people that are behind the scenes here with me today, you are scratch at your job, and you're controlling everything that I do, say. I'm an amateur over here. So I respect and appreciate your talents and your skill base, and that's where you need to be a scratch player. I consider myself a scratch player in leadership development, in diversity and inclusion, and showing you how to use this game. I make no claims to fame that I'm a professional golfer. I used to manage professional golfers, and at one time had a single-digit handicap, and Ada, now I have a double-digit handicap. So make no mistake, it has nothing to do with my level of play, but it does have everything to do with my knowledge base of knowing how to respect the game, how to get around the golf course, the kinds of things that you should do and not do, not to have a cell phone on the golf course with you, not to wear jewelry. I wouldn't wear these earrings. I wouldn't wear this necklace. I wouldn't wear these rings. All of these things are no-nos in corporate golf. This is not the way. I wouldn't even wear my T-shirt because I don't have a collar on.
Let's talk about golf etiquette. What are some golf etiquette?
The golf etiquette is critically important because you have to know the rules and the etiquette of the game. That's the first thing. When you're taking lessons, you're learning the techniques, but the rules and the etiquette of golf is very, very important. You need to know how to address the golf course, if you will.
All right.
What is your tee time? You know, if I said, okay, Ada, I'm inviting you to play golf with me, and our tee time is 9 a.m., which is a very respectable time. That does not mean you walk into the golf course at 9 up on the tee at 9 a.m. That means you should get at the golf course at least by 8 o'clock or 8:15 to get out of your car, get your shoes changed, get acclimated to where you have to go, and so you will not miss your tee time. Because if you miss a tee time or if you're late, that's just like going into a corporate boardroom late. You're disrespecting yourself. You're disrespecting your players. Golf courses are extremely strategic, and now there's a lot of concentration put on what we call the pace of play.
Okay.
And the pace of play means that we want you to keep up. We don't want you to run around the golf course. 9 times out of 10, it is the women that they always say are slow on the golf course. That is not the case at all. It's more men that are slow. And whenever they see women, they perceive, oh my gosh, here's a group of women. We can't play behind them. So women have gotten this stigma that, you know, they're slow. So a lot of women, when they start, they're running around the golf and say, what are you doing?
Yes, yes.
I said, no. You move swiftly in between your shots. You move swiftly after you've executed a shot to get back on your cart or to start walking. But when you're over that ball, you must concentrate and focus. So, you know, when I do coaching on the golf course, and I'm pretty strict about what I do and say, because, you know, I am a professional at this, and I don't take it lightly, and I don't want people to think it's something that they take lightly. But you must enjoy the game. You must have fun when you're out there. And it's very important that you follow the rules. The rules are not just designed for penalties. If you know the rules, if you know the basic rules, they can help you just as much as they can hurt you if you don't know them.
Can you share some specifics with people?
Well, how to tee up your ball. First of all, a lot of people who just start, you see them teeing up their golf ball in front of the tee markers. Now, if you're playing in a tournament, or whether or not you're playing in a tournament, and that's a penalty. And some people will let you go ahead and hit the ball, and they said, oh, sorry, you were in front of the tee marker, and that's a penalty. As opposed to when they see you teeing it up. If I see somebody teeing it up in front of the marker, I just know that they don't know any better, and I stop them. And I said, I'm sorry, you need to tee behind this marker or even with the marker. The other thing that you see often of beginners is they don't know how to mark the ball on the green. They will put their coin markers in front of the ball, beside the ball, anywhere. I've seen people even throw the marker. No, that's inappropriate. And if you're playing in a tournament, that's a penalty. Knowing the basic rules is very, very important, because they can cause you a penalty unnecessarily. Now, the professional golfers on the LPGA Tour or the PGA Tour, do you think they know all these rules? No. They know the basics. They know all of the basics, and they know them very well.
Right.
That is why they have rules officials that are at every tournament, several of them, that follow them around. So if you have any questions at all, about a rule, you call the rules officials, because there it can cost them hundreds of thousands or $1 million if you lose the tournament because of a penalty. But getting in and out of a golf cart is important. Where to drive the golf cart. Don't take it near the tees. Don't take it near the bunkers. You know, they're cart paths. And having managed, you know, I'm very fortunate in the golf business. I've done just about everything in this business. I was the first African American to manage a full 18-hole golf course under the Interior Department and the National Park Service. So I have a tremendous amount of respect, not from just walking golf courses around the world for 26 or 27 years. I've actually managed a staff. I learned how to cut fairways. I knew how to drive a 12-gang Toro tractor. So I know the importance of maintaining a golf course. And so when I'm playing with people, I guess I'm a little, you know, I'm maybe a little too intense, but I said, you cannot take that cart there. Oh, it's not going to hurt anything. Well, do you know how much it costs to maintain a golf course? And when you are not repairing your ball marks on the green, you know, these things, it costs a lot of money to maintain and keep a golf course in good condition. What drives business to a golf course is the condition of the golf course itself. It's not so much how pretty the clubhouse is or how good the food is. That is all a plus. But if that golf course, I don't care whether it's private or public, if that golf course is in poor condition, you're not going to get the play. Now, Ada, you asked earlier about access to public and private courses. Now, public golf courses around the globe today have really stepped up their pace. There are public facilities that are comparable to any private country club in the world. And some of the public golf courses where the PGA and the LPGA play their tournaments year to year, they're public. Places like Pebble Beach, that's a public golf course. Places like Torrey Pines, that's a public golf course. There are many of those in Arizona they play. In Florida they play on many public golf facilities. And if you have the money, you can play there too. But a public golf course, public golf courses all around the region have recognized that we need to get our golf courses in good condition. So if I am a member, which I'm a member of a private course, it's an advantage to me because it's my business. But there are public courses where I would frequent and I would tell my clients, play this course because this is the caliber of person that's playing there that you might want to do business with. So when you're going to a golf course, you want to be selective for two reasons. Who else do you think might be playing there that might add value to what I'm looking for, and the condition of the golf course. So that's very important, and you don't need to have a private membership, but when you are looking at a private membership, the things that I tell women and minorities to look at first is there anybody sitting on that board that looks like you and acts like you? Are there any people of color on that board? Are there any women on that board? Boards at country clubs, they control the clubs. So they are private. It's just like in business. They're in business. So they determine who's going to become a member of that facility. And private courses have been suffering quite a bit over the last 7, 8, 9 years with the turn of the golf business. So they have been doing some very heavy marketing to get more members and to get more women and minorities, and they have made it accessible by doing staggering memberships by saying, well, you can pay so much now, and then you can pay this over a course of several years. Now, also, I tell people, make sure that the club that you choose, if you are married with children, or whether you have children or not, can you is your family able to use this facility?
Mhm.
Is it just golf only, or is there swimming? Is there tennis? Is there other activities that you can use the course for? Now,
Very
when you
nice.
buy a membership for business, that's a tax deductible item when you know how to use it, because
Okay.
I'm using it for my company for business development. Now, every major company that I know, law firms, you name them, they have a membership, consulting firm. They have a membership, not one, but several.
Okay.
And the value of that is immeasurable for them
Mhm.
because they're using it in a way that they are taking their clients out to entertain them at the club, where it is very private and it's very personal. Why do you think there's so many heads of state go on the golf course to have meetings? Because there's
Right.
nobody right there but them. There's no microphones around. There's no open mics. There's
Very good
none of
point.
this. There's nobody in the restaurant that's sitting there that say, "Oh, there's Ada and so and Slater over there." Well, no, that's they might see you out there, but they're not going to interfere. They're not going to get in that foursome on that golf course with you. So you have that kind of very, very private, personal time, and that's very important.
That
But
makes sense.
looking at public golf courses and private golf courses is very, very important. And we talk about that. We talk about memberships in this book. We tell you about memberships and the importance of those memberships. Also, one thing that they're changing in a lot of courses now, but at one time, if there were a husband and wife who had a membership, if the husband passed on, that membership did not automatically go to the wife.
Okay.
So I tell people that's very, very important because they're not cheap memberships. I mean, these are expenses, these are investments. So these are the things that we go in depth into, what the memberships are all about and what they look like. So that's
Well,
important.
in
Yeah.
terms of recommendations for, because we look at golf as a white male elitist chauvinistic sport. I mean, just that's just what the way we think about golf. We think that. So
Mhm.
when you making recommendations to parents now who have kids as well as to students, what would you recommend for them to even start, to even consider the
Yeah.
game of golf?
Mhm. That's a very good question, and I'm glad you
Yeah.
posed that because one of the most important areas where I lecture, and I've done lectures at colleges and universities, and I start with the parents, and when these kids are in um, grade school, high school, if they like this game, then encourage them. It's the best way to get a full 4-year scholarship to an Ivy League school anywhere, because they're looking for women and minorities. And golf takes them there. But we have so many parents who don't understand the importance of that. I did a seminar just last week, and one of the parents in the room, she said, "Oh my gosh, Rose, I got an aha moment here. I didn't know this." She said, "But would you talk to my girls? I have twin girls." And I said, "I'd be glad to." So immediately she got back, said, "Could we do it on a conference call?" And I said, "Set it up, I'll do it." As a result of that, I'm talking to 7 young women around the country. Not just her 2 girls, but they said, "Oh, my cousin needs to know about this. My sister's child needs to know about this." Children, young people need to understand why you need to have this game in your portfolio, because that's the question. That's the soft question when they're going out in the real world for job interviews. It's not written anywhere, but they will ask you, "Oh, do you play golf?" And very subtly they'll ask you, "Do you play golf?" There's a reason they're asking. And the reason is because if you play golf, they know you're going to have access. They know you're going to know how to market their product. They know that you're going to be able to meet people. So it's very important to them. But for me, I tell young people that it's an investment in yourself. The same, there are a lot of 4.0s out there today. I'm telling you, I know because I know them. But they don't have golf in their portfolio, and they have graduated at the top of their class, and they're looking for a job in their field.
Right.
And they can't find it. But I've also met so many that have just come out of school. I lectured at Dartmouth. Okay, I lectured the senior women at Dartmouth.
Okay.
They brought me in to talk about the importance of golf. Every one of them got it. They got it. So if you're going to work for an investment banking company, let me tell you, you need to have golf in your portfolio. I used to chair a $2.5 billion board, the DC Retirement Board, and I was the only one on that board that played golf. But every one of our 26 management companies were into golf.
Okay.
So I was always getting invited to go here, to go there when we were having the conferences, because they knew how to have a private conversation with me and to lobby me. Anybody who's serving on the board, it's, you all know, it's who you know and what you know.
Yeah.
So the game for young people and college students, before you get to college, encourage them to pick up the golf clubs. And if they like it, encourage them to become efficient in it so that they can have a decent handicap to earn a scholarship. When you're looking at $40,000, $50,000 a year, I mean, you all know how much it costs in America to go to school today.
Right.
I can tell you there are quite a few young people who are on full scholarships, golf scholarships today because they have game. And so for me, it's a economic thing for parents. It's an economic thing for young people. But more importantly, for the young person, it is that roadmap. It is that game that is going to be with you for a lifetime, and it's going to take you to places that you would not ordinarily be able to go.
That's a very, very important point. I had no idea.
I know.
Oh, yeah. Well, most people don't look at that part of it. They look at kids going out to have fun and play the game. When kids are young, when you look at the young women on the tour today, they started when they were young. Some of them started when they were teenagers, but they got it, and their parents have gotten it. And when you look at the LPGA tour today, that tour is predominantly Asian. And their parents are over here with them, caddying for them. But they started, and they're very committed to putting in the time and the effort that you have to put into it. And I don't advocate that young people should use this to get on the tour. Not at all. I'm advocating that you use this tool to become efficient in whatever your major is. You could want to be and go into any field. Another case in point, I was lecturing, and the woman walked up to me and she says, "I want my niece to learn about what you teach, and I'm going to tell her to call you." So she did. She was a doctor.
Okay.
And she was a doctor at a very prominent hospital here in the metropolitan area. And she said, I can't get their attention. I'm the only woman in there. And these guys just sort of ignore me. She said, but I heard them talking about golf. And I said, well, you need to do something about it. You need to get yourself golf ready. So we talked, and I got her set up, and she took lessons, and she did. And I said, don't tell them what you're doing. Just get the game in your portfolio and move on. So she said, Rose, I can't believe it. It's all about conversation now. So what she did, she said, I'm not only playing golf, I got tennis clubs too. I got a tennis racket, so I'm doing both. So whatever they come with me, I'm ready. And I think that's the attitude that women in general have to look at. In South Africa, where I have a satellite office and a base there, and I've been going there many years, the women of color, you would be surprised at how many women of color in South Africa are playing the game.
Wow.
And using it very well. So it's a global tool. And one of the things that we're looking at with the art of the deal, and hopefully that these two fine women that I'm in front of here on Google Hangout, we will be looking at taking a group of executive women, 12 to 15 at the most, to an Art of the Deal Golf Access tour to South Africa to meet their counterparts who are doing the same thing in business that they're doing. So that's one of the things that's on our drawing board to do, and we're hoping that we can make that happen in 2016. That's our goal.
Fantastic.
So things like tools, like getting the clubs and the bag. I mean, what is the expense category involved in that for a novice that's just getting started and knows nothing? What are some of the things that it can expect?
Well, first that's very good too, because I removed all those myths, because people say, oh, it's too expensive, the equipment is too costly. Well, the only thing that you have to continue to repeat in golf is the golf ball, because you do lose them. All of us use golf balls. But when you invest in a set of clubs as a beginner, I would encourage all beginners, don't invest in the very high-end golf clubs if you're just starting to play the game. Get some medium clubs that are very good, but get fitted for those clubs first. Don't go to one of the department stores. I don't want to call any names of these stores, but don't go to those stores and get your a set of clubs. Go to a pro shop and get properly fitted, and it doesn't have to be a country club. It doesn't have to be. It could be a golf shop that has a professional fitting program there.
What is? I mean, I don't know about getting fit. What does that entail?
Well, getting fit for clubs is just like you get fit for your pants or your shirt or anything else. Everybody's DNA is different. So I've had people that say, oh, Rose, I want to use your clubs because I'm 5'4" too. And I said, I know, but your hands are not the same size as mine. The length of your arms are not the same size as mine. Your swing is different. So these golf is a high-tech sport now, very high-tech. So when you're saying, oh, I can use Ada's club, we're the same height and we're the same size, that's not true. You need, because we both swing different, we both execute the shots different. So when I say get properly fitted, what you do is you go to a center, golf centers that do fitting, and make sure that they are authorized to fit. I've been to several of them, and they will say they are, and particularly sometimes when they see women coming in, they think you really don't know what, you're just there because somebody said you need to be fitted. Well, you need to pay attention to make sure that they're paying attention to you. It's very, very important as to the execution and how well you play the game and how you're going to enjoy it. Because if your club is not set, if it's 2 degrees loft that's off, that's a big degree of loft that's off. So it causes you to not hit a good shot, or what we call in the sweet spot. There are a lot of technicalities that I won't go into here, but it is very important as a beginner not to get caught up in, oh, this is what Nancy Lopez plays. I want these clubs. No, you're not a professional. And that's their day job, and you can't execute the shots that way. But if you go and get properly fitted, they can put you on they have all kinds of high-tech machines that will show you visually right there whether or not this club is the proper fit for you, and you can get a sense and a feel of it yourself. So that, I say, is very important. When we're talking about, they say it's too expensive compared to what? You're investing in those clubs. You can have those clubs for 4 or 5 years. It's the same as an automobile, right? You're going to invest in that automobile. But you're not just going to go in and buy any car off of the floor, because there's a big difference in a, well, not much these days, but in a Volkswagen and a Mercedes or whatever, because all of them got 3 or 4 different levels of cost. The same thing in golf. With the golf manufacturers, they have 3 or 4 different levels with their clubs.
Okay.
So you invest in one level to say, well, I'm going to try these out. And what happens is you're going to have a good time with them. You're going to enjoy the game. And then you're going to step up your game when you start playing better. You say, oh, like an automobile,
Yeah.
you know, I've had this 5 years, time for me to trade this in. So when I tell people about the comparison of the investment in the game, as with other sports, you know, you're buying that equipment all the time. Every year you got to buy a new ball, you got a new ball, new bat, all of that. But in golf, you don't have to do that. Of course, it depends on the individual, just like a car. Some people say, well, I only keep my cars 2 years. Well, it's entirely up to you when you advance and when you want to trade in. But it's like golf shoes, golf clothes, all of those things now are extremely affordable because they're golf shoes that look just like your walking shoes. Now, I use, I'm not calling any brands because I don't represent them. If they want me to represent them, then I'll call some brands. But the golf shoes, you know, I've been in the business too long, so you know that. And that's another thing. We as amateur women who are professionals in this game, we need to be doing more advertising for golf companies.
I am so glad that you mentioned advertising as well as investing in themselves. What are some business lessons that you've learned through these years? Because you said 26 years with one program, and then your organization has been around a number of years, and you've made a difference in so many lives. Can you please share some of your business lessons that you'd like other people to pick up?
Well, I guess I'm an advocate for wearing your own brand. You see, I have my own brand on. This brand is it's a patent trademark for. I'm on my 2nd renewal of my trademark. Sometimes, and when I have golf shirts, when you attend my workshop seminars, you will get this. You can't buy it. It just lets people know that you have come to the Art of the Deal Golf Access to Success workshop seminar, and that you are equipped and prepared to go out as a qualified, educated person and using the game of golf as a business tool. The other thing is that be very careful about the brands that you are wearing. Sometimes you can't help but, you know, wear a brand with somebody else's logo on it. But, you know, I'm an advocate for how philanthropic are these people? Are they putting anything back into women and minority organizations? Are they supporting us? And if they are, then yes, I would say, yeah, that's a good company. Buy that shirt, buy those pants, buy that logo, buy those shoes. But we need to be educated in this marketplace. The fastest growing segment of the golf industry is, guess what? Women and minorities. That's people of color. That's around the globe. And we are the ones that are keeping their bottom line in the black. And trust me, those are not my statistics. It's theirs. But it's not something that they sort of throw out there all the time. But in the industry, I happen to know that. I am one of the, you know, when we look at people like Sheila Johnson, this woman is phenomenal. She owns, I mean, you know, how many people of color, how many women do you know that knows Sheila Johnson owns 7 or 8 golf clubs and private country clubs. She hosts a major PGA tournament. And so the sponsor of that tournament, I'm getting ready to write them a letter to say we support you because you're supporting her. Now, and we need to be more cognizant. This is what I learned in business, and you know, I'm pretty adamant about it. You know, I think that we need to know more about the Sheila Johnsons of the world, and I'm talking Sheila because Sheila is sports. Sheila not only is heavy into golf, she's serving on the board of the United States Golf Association, the first woman of color to do so. And as Sheila said to me, Rose, I'm not here for window dressing. So we need to take these things into consideration when we're looking at how this sport can help us. They
Right.
wouldn't have Sheila on that board if she was not extremely valuable to them.
Exactly.
And so while there's a lot of room for improvement in the golf industry, particularly for women and minorities, I'm hoping that, through people recognizing more about Sheila, and I'm very happy and proud to say that my book, if you look on the cover of this book, the foreword was written by Sheila Johnson.
Wow.
So
Beautiful.
I'm extremely happy and proud about that. And when I approached her about doing it, she didn't say, let me think about it.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't say, ask me any questions about it, because she knew me. She said, Rose, I would be pleased to do that.
That's
Well,
wonderful.
I aspire to be, in the where Sheila Johnson is. I think that we as business people, when you're playing golf, there's certain golf courses I would not go to.
Mm-hmm.
Certain people who own golf courses, I'm not going to call his name, but I would not play there. I would not take any of my clients there to play on any of those facilities. But Sheila Johnson owns these facilities that are top-notch, first class, and we as women and people of color need to seek this out and say, oh, where are they? I hear people every day say, oh, I didn't know that. Well, where are you living, under a rock? She owns the Mystics. She owns half of the Wizards. She owns half of the Capitals. So I like to use real live case studies, and I think that's very important. And you asked me, what have I learned in business? I've learned that if I have golf, I can approach almost anybody. And that's the key. And people have invited me because they know that I play golf. They don't even know me. They said, oh, we understand you play golf. And I said, yeah, just like I did years ago when I wrote a letter. I said, hey, Mr. President, I hear you play a little golf. So
yes,
I'm and that's how that happened. I'm hoping that that my president now would allow me to play a little golf with him. But I haven't had that opportunity, but I'm not giving up on it, because I think that he should play some golf with women of color, and he should play golf with me so I can introduce him to some more that would, because we're all here to serve and to do better for one another. And if I can add value to anybody's life through this game, that's my mission, and that's my goal, and that's what I want to do. This is my life, and I'm fortunate to be able to use my work and my passion in a way that I want to help others.
That's so beautiful.
That is a great way to wrap this up.
Yes.
I mean, it sounds as if though golf has not only changed your life, but it's built the confidence and the know-how, expertise that you so graciously share with others. So we really appreciate that, and we appreciate the time with our Google Hangout.
Yes.
I want to definitely encourage everyone to get involved, especially students and parents of students, to get involved in the game of golf, to get the book. Definitely hold up your book, Rose.
Yeah. The book, yes, we can get the book. The book is on Amazon, and if you want to contact us, you can contact us to get a book. And I want to thank you all for allowing me to be a guest on my first Google Hangout. And I want to especially thank you, Ada, for having Tamara Forbes here, because without her, I'm telling you, I would not be sitting here in front of you. She's been phenomenal and patient and getting me camera ready. So I thank you very much for that.
We thank Tamara Forbes. We thank UrbanConnections.com, and
thank you.
All for tuning in. Definitely book Rose for workshops, seminars. She's available through Nommo Speakers at www.nommospeakers.com. And definitely, like I said, go to Amazon, buy the book. And check out Rose's website as well. Say your website again so I won't mess it up, Rose.
My website is www.thegrass, grass, ceiling, ceiling.com.
So
Thank
we end by
you.
saying, is golf in your portfolio?
Yes.
We at Nommo definitely want to keep the conversation going and inspire action. So thank you again, and we will catch you on the next Google Hangout. Take care.